There's a key witness in the GOP's investigation by the Biden family, and he's been indicted by the Justice Department. His name is Gail Luff. We've been telling you about him. Well, he's a dual citizen of the U.S. and Israel, and he recently resurfaced in a video in which he laid out allegations of corruption against President Biden. Well, now he is being accused of multiple criminal offenses. Prosecutors from the DOJ yesterday released an indictment accusing Luff of failing to register as a foreign agent. He's also facing charges for allegedly paying a former Trump advisor on behalf of principals in China in 2016. The DOJ in the indictment also alleged that he set up meetings between Iran officials and a Chinese energy firm to discuss oil deals, which they say would violate U.S. sanctions. Now, Luff claims his arrest in Cyprus back in the month of February was meant to stop him from coming forward and testifying before the House Oversight Committee about the Biden family's business deals with China. We'll continue to watch this very closely for you. Also today, the DOJ pushing back against the claims made by IRS whistleblower Gary Shepley. In a new letter to Senator Lindsey Graham, U.S. Attorney David Weiss says the Justice Department never impeded him from bringing charges against Hunter Biden. Weiss in this letter reiterated his full authority in the tax probe. But Gary Shepley's attorney slammed Weiss's letter, saying it makes no difference whether Weiss requested special counsel or special attorney authority. Bit of parsing of the words there. For the latest on this, let's bring in our national correspondent Logan Raddick. Logan?
Well, Bianca, this is all in response to Gary Shepley's allegations. Remember, he's the IRS whistleblower in this case, and he says that the Justice Department denied a special counsel request from U.S. Attorney David Weiss, and he also says that the Justice Department interfered in the federal investigation into Hunter Biden, delaying enforcement action in the lead-up to the 2020 election. Now, the Justice Department is denying this, and as you mentioned, Bianca, David Weiss sent a letter to Senator Lindsey Graham, the ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, in which Weiss says in part, quote, "In this case, I have not requested special counsel designation and have never been denied the authority to bring charges in any jurisdiction." But Gary Shepley's legal team responded with a statement saying in part, quote, "U.S. Attorney David Weiss's story continues to change. Under no circumstances should the process have included the political appointees of the subject's father, because Congress had been assured it would not, but it did." Now, one of Shepley's other allegations is that as he and other IRS criminal investigators prepared an affidavit for a search warrant on a storage unit that Hunter Biden used for his business records, Assistant Delaware U.S. Attorney Leslie Wolf voiced her objection and then informed Hunter Biden's lawyers before the search took place. Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley sent a letter to U.S. Attorney Weiss asking him to respond to a series of questions. And Grassley said in part, quote, "In light of Assistant U.S. Attorney Wolf's alleged questionable and obstructive conduct during the course of your investigation, I'm seeking clarification from you with respect to your knowledge of those allegations and how you've handled them." Now, Weiss has yet to respond to Grassley's letter, but he did say to Senator Lindsey Graham that the communications in this investigation he cannot turn over because the investigation is ongoing, even though he struck a plea deal with Hunter Biden. Back to you.
Logan Raddick live on Capitol Hill. Thanks, Logan. Well, joining us now to discuss this and also the road to 2024, senior advisor to President Trump, Jason Miller. Jason, welcome in. Good to see you.
Great to be with you.
Let's get your reaction to what's going on here with this Weiss situation. The House Oversight Committee issued a response to the letter saying basically Weiss is changing his tune about having authority to bring charges, quibbling about what type of authority status he sought out instead. You know, the attorneys for these whistleblowers have been very firm with what their clients have said on the record, their testimony, which is pretty bombshell and damning. Their attorneys say basically it makes no difference whether or not Weiss requested special counsel, special attorney authority. What do you think is really going on here, and if we'll ever get to the bottom of it with Weiss saying there's ongoing investigations?
Well, I hope we're going to get to the bottom of it, but I'm not entirely confident. What we seem to be seeing here is what President Trump always refers to as the two tiers or two different tracks of our justice system. One aspect of justice for President Trump, another aspect of justice for Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, and everyone wrapped up with the Biden foreign business dealings. You know, this almost reminds me of back in the day when you go to New York and you'd see the guys on the street corner playing the three-card Monte, and you'd have to try to pick which one, and they'd be trying to shake people down and hustle tussle them. This seems to be a very deliberate effort to hide the ball or hide what's really going on here. And I wish that there would be a special counsel that would step in and actually do something here, get to the bottom of it. Otherwise, I fear we're never truly going to know whatever happened with Hunter Biden and the rest of the Bidens.
Well, we can assure it probably will come up tomorrow during the House Judiciary hearing with FBI Director Christopher Wray. Your thoughts on where they may take this line of questioning and what Wray may offer?
Well, I hope they really take it to Director Wray pretty strongly here. I think that since Director Wray has come on board, there's been very much a lack of him following through on efforts to reform the FBI. We're constantly being flooded with examples or stories of whether it's the FBI, of course, the DOJ, which Wray reports up to, where there are aspects of political influence that are really guiding what they do within the FBI. We see it from things that happened before the 2016 election, before the 2020 election, and I think Wray has some real explaining to do.
Well, let's look forward to the 2024 election, talk a little bit about what's happening on the trail. We're going to get to a big endorsement from Michigan in just a moment, Jason. But first, you know, President Trump truthed this about Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, who's very popular, as you know, saying that she's neutral on an endorsement, kind of criticizing her for that, talking about that he endorsed her, did big rallies, and now she wants to remain neutral. Do you think that this is going to hurt him at all with Iowa voters due to her popularity in the state? What's going on here?
No, I think it's President Trump stating the obvious, the fact that he was very instrumental in Governor Reynolds winning in 2018, and that he would like Governor Reynolds to be on board with his campaign. I do think that ultimately, as this race gets closer, hopefully Governor Reynolds does the right thing and endorses President Trump. Certainly understand if she ends up staying neutral throughout, but I think that this race is really becoming President Trump and then essentially the seven dwarves back behind him. Polling in Iowa has President Trump up by some 25 points, as we see in all the national polling. New polling out today from Morning Consult shows it's more of a 40-point race, and even in certain states, including Texas and Tennessee, it's a 50-point race. I don't see any comeback trail for Governor DeSantis. I think this race is largely put away and President Trump is too far out in front. And so I think it's time for all of us to get behind President Trump, because additional effort being put towards this by other folks, whether it be the money raised or the attention, is taking away from us taking the fight directly to Joe Biden.
And does that also include an endorsement from House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who has not yet formally endorsed President Trump?
Well, I'd like to see Speaker McCarthy endorse President Trump as well. I'm going to leave that to the Speaker and to his own timetable. Certainly, he has said that President Trump looks to be the strongest candidate in the general election. He's also said that President Trump had the best policies, and he's made it very clear that President Trump is far and away the front runner, that he can beat Joe Biden. As far as an official endorsement, I got to leave that to him and his timetable.
All right. Well, we just got some information a few moments ago about the entire delegation of Michigan coming forward endorsing former President Trump in 2024. It's a big deal. In 2016, Trump was the first Republican to win that state. In 28 years, your reaction to this new announcement today for your campaign?
So this is huge news. So for folks who haven't seen it, what Bianca's referring to is all 6 of the Michigan Republicans in Congress have endorsed President Trump. Michigan, of course, a pivotal state that President Trump helped put into play in 2016 and keeping it in play going forward. So President Trump now has more endorsements from the Michigan Republican delegation than Governor DeSantis has in all of Congress. So this shows that in a pivotal swing state, people are rallying around President Trump because he is the strongest candidate in the general, as I mentioned earlier. Another thing, too, President Trump is really keying on this divide between the UAW, the auto workers, and Joe Biden with his push for electric vehicles. And I think you're going to see this be a lot more like 2016 when President Trump almost won outright with union households. It was only, I believe, a 7 or 8 point difference between the two, the closest it's been in generations. And I think that Michigan really is going to be a key state to watch. These 6 endorsements today are massive. Look to see a lot more from Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, some of the key Great Lakes states.
All right, Jason Miller, always great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.